interest rate. In this case, we will use the rate function to find that out, and we won't use goal seek. What we want to do is we have a predetermined future value that we know that we want, and we have a predetermined present value or cash flow zero that we know we have. So we know what we have, we know what we want, but we need to understand what the interest rate needs to be to get to the future value. Now, in most cases, the interest rate will be dictated unless you're like financing something. So say you have a home and you want to do seller financing, meaning you, the seller, want to finance to the buyer. Maybe this is a way that you could go about figuring how much the interest rate may be at a certain rate, okay, or at a certain future value. So what we'll do in this video is we're just going to copy and paste, and we're going to keep it simple this time and keep the cash flows to 12. Let's go ahead and we can just copy and paste. First thing that we want to do is come up and look at our formulas. Okay, and let's just bring that open. When you see the hashtag or number sign in a cell, that means that the cell's not big enough to show the numbers, kind of like you see here in the balance column. Come up here to the column heading K, and just to the right, when you put your cursor over the line, it changes to that line with the arrows going both ways. Double click, and that'll automatically adjust the line to fit the numbers. Now be careful, if you have a lot of text in one cell but most of everything is simple like this, and you double click, it'll make that column really big. So make sure that if you are doing that, let me just show you, for example. Let me just go like this. We'll just give you an example of what it's like. Okay, so that's my cell, and if I were to come up here to double click, it'll make it really big. So just be careful that if you are doing that, you're not dealing with a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Okay, so in this case, we determined that we want to have a target amount of $150,000. Okay, and what we need to do is we need to delete this annual interest rate here. Oh, this is where we need to find the absolute reference. Okay, so right now it's over here going off that 0.202%. We need to change that to I. So let's go here and let's select I-65, and then we can hit Shift T, which will absolute reference that. And there we go. And then we just make sure that we drag that through. Okay. And because we have zero interest rate, it's not doing any type of calculations, and it's showing that the balance is 90% because we're not doing any compound interest. Okay. So let's go here. So this is our target rate. We could, if you wanted to try to back into it, you could, but you're not going to get an exact $150,000 amount. You might get $150,000.24 or $150,079 if you try to back into the number, which you could do. You could try to slowly back into it. I just tried it before this, and it probably took me 20 iterations to back into a number, but I had pennies left over. So rather, we'll come here and we're just going to type in rate. So equals rate. And if you go back to the financial lesson where we talk about finance, you'll find the explanation for the rate function. I'll also include that in this module here, but you can find it in both places. Okay, so we type in rate and we have the first paren. And now we have NPER. So what is NPER? Well, that's going to be our periods per year. So we have 12. Okay. comma, no payments, because remember our cash flow 0 is our present value. If we had payments, it would be right here. It would be after CF0. So CF1 could be a payment. So you'd have payments here. But we don't, so we're just gonna hit comma, ignore that. Present value, remember negative first for either present value or future value, but we'll just do present because that was our cash outflow, cash going away from us to the savings account. Then we have our future value of 150. Okay, that'll be our target. Type, we're gonna be in end mode, so we can hit 0, or you can leave that blank, comma, then we're gonna leave guess blank. Okay, and that will give us an interest rate of 4 point, okay, but we need to do something real quick. We have an issue, and what we need to do is go times 12. Okay, now you can see that our target 150,000 meets with the calculations that we have, meets the 150. Now, why did we have to come up here and do times 12? Well, because when we typed in this I-64, the compounding periods, it alters the formula. So we need to then adjust for that on the back end by doing times 12 to get the annual rate. If we didn't do the adjustment, the times 12 adjustment, it would give us the periodic rate, so the monthly interest rate, which usually we're going to be asking questions about the annual interest rate. So we need to convert it. The formula gives us a periodic rate, but we need to convert it to an annualized rate, so we multiply it by 12. And that's what gets us to the correct answer.